So lately I've been feeling a little bit bored with my current desk setup, and don't get me wrong, I still absolutely love it, but there's a couple of things that I've been wanting for ages. One is a second proper monitor, not just my MacBook on a stand. And then I've also been wanting to put up some artwork above my monitor just to give my office a bit more personality. So I decided to do a bit of a DIY office makeover, and I also want to 3D print a stand for my MacBook and then some little planters for some little succulent plants that I've got. I want to incorporate these into my desk setup somehow. So let me take you through the process and show you how it turns out in the end. So first of all, I decided to start with setting up my new monitor. I was sent this one by BenQ, which is very kind of them. It's a 27-inch IPS display. It was actually really easy to set up. I was very impressed. Next, it was time to remove my trusty Grove-made laptop stand, and I almost destroyed my external NVMe drive, but that's okay. It was just a matter of turning the monitor vertical and then putting it into place. Next, obviously I had to plug in the power. I also plugged it in via USB-C into my docking station. And that's phase one of this transformation complete. I think it's looking pretty good so far. So the next stage was the artwork, and I actually found these prints on Etsy, and they were actually really cheap. So I put them on my USB stick and then headed off to Officeworks to get them printed. Not long later, I came back out with 2 printed posters. I decided to start with just 2. Next, we went to Big W to get some frames, and I got these for literally $19 each, which I thought was an absolute bargain. So I was very happy about that. When I brought them home, I just wanted to double check that the posters actually fit, and they did. So it was time to start setting up the frames. And I thought it turned out to look really good, considering this will cost me, I think, about $45, including the prints and the frame. Honestly, considering you pay probably like $80 plus if you get them pre-printed. This one is a Yayoi Kusuma print. I think that's how you say it. I thought this one also turned out looking amazing. And the funny thing was, after actually measuring the wall, I decided that maybe instead of just going with 2 prints, I might go with 3. And since I'm renting, I didn't want to put any nails in the wall, so I decided to use command strips. And I got my wife to help me stick them to the wall in the right position. We made sure we measured it correctly. So I decided to have one in the center, and then I decided to put one on either side, but I only printed 2, so I just started with the 2 that I've got. By this point, it was too late to go and print the 3rd one. So in the meantime, I decided to start printing my laptop stand, and I found this nice one on Makeover. I thought it looked pretty cool, and I printed it with some wood PLA, which I thought fit the aesthetic of my desk really well. And overall, I'm really happy with it. I think it turned out really nice. I think it matches the Bauhaus prints that I've got. And it's pretty hard to beat considering it costs like $2 in filament. Next, I wanted to figure out where I wanted to put these succulent plants on my little pegboard on top of my desk. Got this little tray that came with the desk, which I haven't used in ages. So I just measured it to see what size pots I needed to print. I found these pots on Makeover as well, and I thought they looked pretty cool. They kind of look like crumpled paper. So I went ahead and printed out 2 of these, just at slightly different sizes, just to give it a bit of variation. Then it was time to transfer the succulents from these little glass containers that they came in into my new 3D printed pots. I got these square pots from Bunnings. I couldn't find round ones that were small enough, so I just cut these little square ones down, and overall they seem to do the job. They fit pretty well. I haven't had the best of luck with real plants in my office so far, so we'll see how these ones actually turn out and whether they survive, but I definitely prefer real plants over fake ones. And once they were in the little planters, I actually thought they looked pretty good. Added some decorative stones just to make them look a little bit nicer. And I was really happy with how these turned out. Let me know what you think in the comments. Alright, lastly, I wanted to finish off that final print, so I skated back to Officeworks and skated home with my final print. I eventually was able to get a 3rd frame from Big W because they were out of stock pretty much everywhere, which was kind of frustrating. This is another Bauhaus print, and I think this one also turned out really nice. Again, I just made sure I followed all the instructions with the command strips. I don't want any risk of tearing off any paint from my walls. That was my biggest concern. is supposed to let the command strip set for an hour, so I made sure I waited for that. And then after an hour, I clicked in the final print and my office transformation was complete. I'm personally really pleased with how it all turned out. I was surprised at how much of a big difference just some artwork makes to the overall look of the office. I was really happy with my little pot plants and how they fit in with my overall desk. And then of course the little laptop stand was really nice, just keeps it out of the way, so I've got plenty of space for my second monitor. So let me know in the comments what you think. Do you like the upgrade? Do you like the transformation? Would you change anything? Are there any upgrades you're making to your setup? I've also got my 2025 desk setup video planned for the near future, so make sure you subscribe and keep an eye out for that.